Folks, Sega Sonic fan here with the Sonic the Hedgehog record. What a shocker. I'm going to be repairing my Technics 1200 yet again. This poor turntable, it gets so much use. And it's old. Old things break. And what happened last night is Gloria Estefan here with a few of her buddies fell down, like so, and broke the lift arm that raises the Tonearm Lift, that raises the Tonearm up and down. And boy, I was not happy with that because, as you can see, it's not a simple repair that you can do without taking apart the whole assembly here. And this white plastic bit, so the black plastic is what broke, and where it broke is this metal rod here. There's just a little bit of black plastic on this side, and then of course a lot more on this side, and it just broke that way. Clean off. And so I used some Gorilla Glue because I ran out of liquid nails, which is what I would normally use for this kind of a repair for metal and plastic. But we'll see if the Gorilla Glue holds up. I'm not super confident that it's going to hold up over a long period of time, but at least it'll work for now. And this whole assembly comes together. You can't just buy this black piece of plastic, which is a bummer. Also, I've read that this assembly is not in production anymore, which is also a bummer and makes it quite expensive. But I thought I'd show you all how to. So for that reason, actually, I thought I'd show you all how to repair this. If any of you out there have this issue, and because I didn't see any videos on getting this deep into the tone arm. First of all, you can see that this thing is sliding out, which I really don't want because I'm trying not to put stress on these cables here. There's a little bit of play, but not a lot. That's really important because you don't want to. Those cables run all the way to the contacts at the end of the tone arm, and you don't want to mess that up because then you have to get a new tone arm or mess around with that. Also they're very thin, a little fragile, and you can also break the connection off the board. I'm less worried about that. But a little rundown of what's going on here. This gear mechanism, it's pretty cool actually. This is the anti-skate. And so your anti-skate knob, which is right here, you turn that and then it gives a little extra spring there, comes into contact with this standoff pole coming from the tone arm, this guy right here. And so this kind of pushes that a little bit, which is, part of the tone arm. So that's how the anti-skate works. That's pretty cool. So you want to make sure that this spring thing is lined up correctly with the setting on your anti-skate. And I'll try to show that either at the end of this video or in a separate part of this video. And then if you're going to be doing this repair, you have to make sure that this guy is straight up so it'll slot back in correctly. Removing it is not super fun. You do have to remove like everything to get this far into it. I think I even had to remove the two screws that are here as well. This is part of the tone arm lift, and then there's a spring over here, which looks like so, and has a couple of washers and a C-nut. The C-nut, which is a clip, looks like a C, you can see it right there. Those are very, very important. You don't want to lose those. Those are hard to replace, and they do kind of spring off. The way that I remove them usually is I'll use a pair of tweezers like this and slot, put the tips into the slot and pull them out. Anyway, be very careful you don't lose parts because these are hard. Even the screws are just like hard to come by. And then there's a bunch of different screws, as you can see over here, with different threadings that attach this plastic plate to the metal shell. So that's a bit annoying. And of course, you have to undo the screws. And if you have an original table that hasn't been modified like mine, you have to take apart the whole table, get to I believe there's 3 screws on the bottom of this, take this out, and then unthread your tone arm, your metal tone arm assembly. Then you have to undo the board, these 2 screws, remove the C-clip and the washers and the spring, which go around this, which is slotted down here. Crap, I'm trying to do this. It's tricky. Which is slotted down into there. So yeah, it's not a fun job. I'm gonna go ahead and try to put this together on camera. We'll see if I can pull it off. I'm not super positive that I can, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. And maybe if I do it like this, using my let's try it. Well, I lost my light source. Oh, light source. All right, so you got a pretty good view here, though. And let's go ahead and get my other light here. Not sure why that one's acting up. All right. So you have the hole is that hole down there is the opening for the lift arm. Obviously, oh, one of my blue wires already broke. Well, not the end of the world, but still annoying. You can see why it's just very delicate work. And this is very old plastic. This is a 1979, 1980 model, and which is why I'm sure it's why it broke so easily in the first place. And let's do this very carefully. So this part, this is actually the raise and lower. This is how it actually raises and lowers the tone arm with that plastic. So that notches into 2 spots. So if that comes loose, just check to make sure that it notches in correctly on the top there. And then you'll just very carefully feed this bar in first, then that one. And this one will have a little bit of tension, the gold bar. And so just feed it in best you can. Wow, this one's got a lot of tension actually. And there's just so many little mechanical parts, you gotta be very careful. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that was too much tension. I knew something was up. I had to angle it a little better. And then the last thing you want to do is adjust the anti-skate. And so you want to look for that little spring, and you'll see that, let's go ahead and just put it in first and see how it's aligned by stock. Let's get this blue wire out of the way too. I'm not actually seeing that spring at all. Oh, there it is. It's down there. So that, of course, is not correct. So what I want to have to do is take this out just a little bit. Move. You see I'm moving that spring with my finger here to be around. You want it to be around that metal rod coming from the tone arm, like so. Then put it back in, and now it should be at the 0 position. And now you can see it's, when you turn it, it's a little bit of it's against the rod there, depending on how it's supposed to be. I could be wrong about that actually. Maybe it's supposed to be on the other side of the rod. If the rod, let me think, if you're trying to anti-skate is trying to push it away from the center of the record. Yeah, so it's actually going to be, I actually had it right the first time. It's actually going to be, let's see, so let's get this in the 0 position. I haven't done a lot of stuff with anti-skate, so. All right, so that's the 0 position. Let's get that back in there. And now when I turn the anti-skate, yeah, no, that's definitely not right. So yeah, it does go on the left side, I believe. All right. And let's try this again. And you can re-grease these gears if you want. I decided not to because it's been working and I'm not super worried about that, and I just don't want to spend more time on this than I already am. I want to get my records going. I got records to listen to. All right. And let's see. So that is, there we go. So I don't know if you can see in there, but this is 0, and you'll see when I turn it here, that's actually where it begins to start the anti-skate. But then if I turn it back a little bit, you'll notice it doesn't actually reach the rod at all. If I go like that, this is the rod all the way back. And that play right there is the play between 0 and the start. So that's something they've accounted for in the mechanical calibration. It's not meant to actually do anything when you're in that dead, it's essentially a dead zone. And then it activates the anti-skate when you get it further down. So that's all good. And after this, I just basically go in reverse order. And I'm going to put this spring back down, and then I have to put the washer and the C-clip and just assemble everything back the way it was. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm probably going to do this off camera because I'll be too stressed if I do it on camera. But yeah, putting everything back is going to be a bit of a pain, and getting all the screws right, of course. Yeah, I have to get into this screw down here, so I might have to take out these two again. And then there's that screw and that screw. Got a little bit of Gorilla Glue on my tweezers here. And there's screw down in there. And of course, there's the screws that hold the board on. There's 2 of those as well. And then the screws that hold on this plate. There are videos that do show some of that stuff, so I'm not showing everything here. But just giving you kind of a rundown of when you get deeper into this thing, which I could not find any videos on. Hopefully this was helpful. I know my videos are a little shoddy and unedited and shaky camera, but at least the information's there for you all to do some repairs. This is Sega Sonic Fan, signing out.